Welcome to another episode of the Carpe Fide podcast, where if the shoe fits, you wear it.
And if the truth hurts, you bear it.
I am Justin Gruber.
And I am Jesse Gruber.
And today we hope you will seize the faith. Well, hey everybody. Welcome to episode 203 of the Carpe Fide podcast. It's great to have you this fine whatever day you're listening.
It is great to have you on this day, which could be Friday, but it could also be a different day.
Yeah, or a night. It could be, whenever you're choosing to listen.
It could be.
We do not have what I would call a clear title topic, but essentially what we're going to do today is shotgun a whole lot of stuff.
Well, it's kind of like another news roundup.
It's like a news roundup / also we need to continue to rant a little bit. Like, I don't know. My general philosophy at this point in our current culture is, if you as a Christian are not intentionally, and I'm going to use the word aggressively, encountering with your words lies, then I don't know what exactly would need to happen inside of a culture for you to do so. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm down. I mean, but I've been living with you for the past 3 weeks, so I mean, not with you, but around you.
Yeah, that's fair. We've like, since the 50s, we have gotten just fat and lethargic, and then COVID happened and it kind of woke us up, and then we felt like maybe we kind of won a lot of reality in the COVID, and we stopped. There is not a day in the life of a Christian that you should not have an interaction with the truth in another person's life. It just isn't, whether that's inside your own home, with a person at the grocery store. We just need to constantly be pressing the truth, because our world is so filled with lies, evil, and death, that when Ephesians 4 tells us to speak the truth in love, we fail by ignoring or simply speaking love. We actually are supposed to speak truth. We speak truth in love. We don't speak love. We speak truth in love. If you want to love someone, you must speak the truth. And I just I'm so over flaccid Christianity. There's no longer time. There's no longer time. If you're a flaccid Christian, congratulations. I'm going to have to also speak to you now. And also still address the lies of the world. Anyway, I'll stop talking.
And also, why do you listen to our podcast?
Yeah, no, why do you listen to the podcast? That's a good point.
Don't get me wrong, though. They need to listen to our podcast.
Yeah, but they won't be able to handle it, because they lack the structural integrity, for they are flaccid. They lack the stability to be able to handle. All right.
It's like Trump and winning. There's just so much winning. They can't handle all the winning.
You'll say, no, please stop. No more winning. But there's going to be more.
And there was.
Okay. All right.
Promises delivered.
So first up, we're just going to walk down a memory lane. With the passing of Vodi Bakum, it was a true sadness. We've experienced some sadness. I feel, and maybe the reason I feel so heartily on the side of shaking everyone from their malaise with their treatment of the truth of Christ, the truth of God's word, the truth of morality, all these things found in God's word, is because it seems like God is bringing home many saints. He's bringing home many of his saints that have been in the public eye and speaking out and doing work. And I think sometimes because they do that, we flock to them, we listen to them, and we're like, oh, good, they're doing work. And we forget to do work. So we have to, God's calling these saints home. They are in their rest. They have gone from temporal to eternal. We're here. We must engage now. It is time. These men left clear teaching and legacy. We must engage. But we had so many sweet interactions with Vodi at so many G3, pretty much every G3 we're at, I was like, oh, hey, there's Vodi. Oh, hey, we're next to Vodi. Okay, I guess we're going to help now.
every time, and we were not complaining.
Oh, absolutely not. It was awesome. We I remember we show up to our first G3 con. What was that? 21.
2021, yeah.
In 2021, we showed up to our first G3 conference, and we're setting up this booth, and Pop's group is there, and he has all these ideas and this lighting and this. You could see our, if any of you were there, you can attest to it, but you could see our booth from the entryway to the exhibit hall. Like we had, and we were on the backside of curtains and stuff. We had these things, these towers
it was up there,
popping
man.
up.
It was up there, man.
We had signs lit front and back, and they were about 15, 20 feet up in the air. And we're setting up and everything. And I remember, we're constantly interacting with people because we're not really it was great that we were able to, sell some shirts and continue to make more shirts because essentially there was no keeping anything. We made more shirts. We were able to pay for all the things that it takes to run a podcast and stuff. And that's great. But we're just there to talk to people. And then after the first session lets out, the first main break lets out, and everybody's touring the exhibit hall, and we're just working, and we have people from our church, and we're just working and engaging, and Vody sticks his very large imposing head, because everything about Vody is imposing. He's just an imposing individual. Sticks his head with his big deep voice and says, any of you guys can help over here?
It's just right through the curtain, right through the back of our booth. It's just
we can use some help over here. Anybody help over here? And then he just pops his head back through.
Oh man. So Pops was the unofficial member of the Balcom family.
Yeah, Vody Balcom Ministries. He just pops his head back through, and then Pops goes over there and he's helping them, and he got to know Vody's wife, and his son was there helping and interacting, helping with the books, helping with the sales, helping bag stuff up, helping move the line along. And that was such a awesome ministry. I know it meant a lot to Pops to be able to do that. And then just to help them, pack up, help them every time there was a book signing that Vody would sign a book. We would help. We'd help them collect funds, pass out the books. We would, interact with everybody that was there. It was really cool to be able to help him that way.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was Vody's booth, but it felt like it just felt like an unofficial Carpe Fide booth at the same time. Like,
we're all helping him. So
I'm sad that Pops. I'm sad that we're recording in the middle of the day that we can't actually have Pops on right now. But I would much rather him tell the story. But he when he gets over to Vody's booth, what was the son that was there? Was it Judah? It might have been Judah.
I think it was Judah.
But Vody hands him the cash. He's like, "All right, you're in charge. You're in charge of the cash." And if you've ever watched that episode or interacted with Pops Gruber, you know that he is one of the most innocent and jolly but also troublemaking individuals that there could be. We've inherited much from him. And he takes the envelope and he leads over to Judah, and he's just like, "Oh man, it's just so great that Vody would trust me with the cash. I just got out of jail for robbing a bank, and and it's just so nice to have this opportunity to redeem myself." And the kid's jaw just drops like what?
Looking at him like, wait, what?
Like, what are we doing? Mistakes were made, but that's Pops. And the kids would come over and they would hang out at our booth from time to time. It was just oh man, we do church like family at our church, and I feel like it's rare, at least in our area, to see that level of ministry happening. But man, I really felt that's the way that Vody's table ran. It was like family. And yeah, the guy's wicked smart. He's wicked popular. He says, many hard things to people who don't want to hear them. But at the same time, it was just such a welcoming and really just heavenly experience, to be able to interact with him and his family that way. And, as we're unsetting, we got to talk for a long time about, all of his health issues and what that journey was like for his family. And, I'm a nurse and Justin's wife's a nurse. And, we got to connect on just the miracle that happened with, you know, his surgeries and getting to the States for that. It was really sweet. We posted a picture on our Instagram of us and Vody. You know, if you want to go over there and check that out, but just a lion of a man, an absolute lion for the Lord. And we would be remiss not to grieve along with the world, really, in losing his voice, but also at the same time recognize that that God views the death of his saints and his faithful ones as precious in his sight. And so we rejoice with heaven, but we lost another good one there. We lost a really great man.
Absolutely. And I always like to, I think it's always appropriate to mention that God never, with a saint, did not waste his life. His death is also just never wasted in the ministry that he did. And when we do well when we speak the truth as we go, as the Shema says, wherever we are, we carry the truth with us. We speak the truth. When we teach our kids, when we establish our families, when we establish our homes, when we build deeply our churches, and when we speak the truth in the marketplace, and when we do those things, we are reflecting the ministry of Vody Bachman and the men who have just, I mean, so many this year. I mean, so many this year already. But the men that have gone before and poured into our lives. When we do that, we are reflecting aspects of their ministry, and what a gift that is. And we carry forward that. Not in mourning, but also in faithfulness, and we speak to the truth that they were able to instill and teach through God's word to us by living that truth out and speaking that truth as we go. And so that's just an encouragement. If this has been such a hard time for you, I mean, with Charlie Kirk being assassinated, I mean, we've lost, you know, John MacArthur, we've lost Vody Bachman, you know, Charles Dobson, if that was your thing. We've lost so many men who really laid a huge foundation into speaking into public culture. They spoke into the world, and they were, you know, teachers trying to engage and trying to pull us in the direction of faith and faith that engaged. And if you've been really overwhelmed at the loss of even Vody, the way that we continue is to build our families and to read our Bibles and to carry that truth out of our homes and into the marketplace and to deepen our churches. That's how we were able to reflect them, as Paul would say, "Follow me as I follow Christ," and that is what we can aim to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's so funny how times like this can influence the way we think and how we interact, but really it is just the same call that we've always had. I mean, we've always had to engage the world with the gospel of Jesus Christ in the public square and in our homes and in our workplaces. Like, nothing's changed in the mission. It's just we must change our hearts and our minds and our attitudes and really just rid ourselves of the apathy of waiting for that right time or of feeling we're not equipped enough or whatever. Like, I think I said in community group that, like, you know, the Holy Spirit can use a bad gospel presentation or a gospel presentation said, you know, in the wrong way or not presented well or great or just clumsily. He can use that to open people's eyes. And he can use the most loving and tender presentation to just completely close someone's eyes. Like, I mean, you were preaching the other week about how the rich young ruler heard the truth of the of the kingdom of God straight from Christ's lips, and he wasn't encouraged. He wasn't like happy-go-lucky. He was deeply saddened and went away, not having truly changed and accepted that. And so, you know, like, our responsibility to the culture in sharing the gospel and in being bold doesn't change no matter how we perceive the response is going to be. I mean, all of these men, that you listed, regardless of what you think of them, took the truth into very unwelcoming places. They had radio shows, they had podcasts, they had books, they did interviews on TV with people that absolutely hated who they were and what they stood for. And it's like, we need a little more of that. We need a lot more of that, actually. So
Absolutely. Absolutely we do. And there is no time like today, this moment. There's no time like today to actually carry forward the truth. And remembering that when we do that, when we speak the truth in love, it is not our speaking it that actually changes people. It's the truth that changes people. And it is God who uses his truth to change people. God spoke to Cain, and yet Cain killed his brother. Jesus told the rich young ruler the truth, even though Jesus himself was saddened by speaking the truth, because he knew that evil was in the heart of man, and that it would not be taken by this young man who had so much to lose. He spoke the truth nonetheless. We are called to speak the truth, and we seem to think that we can't speak the truth. Maybe it's not the right time to speak the truth, or maybe the truth is too hard. And what if this person isn't ready to hear the truth? And as if any of that is up to us, when the command is speak the truth. So
Right.
Let's do it. Let's go.
if Jesus can share the truth with someone he knew would reject it, I feel like we can share the truth with somebody who we don't know if they'll reject it or not. The outcome
and
could
let's
be
be
completely
honest.
positive.
Right. And let's be honest. Everyone that Christ has ever saved was his enemy. Christ only saves enemies. He doesn't, there are no friends that he has saved. He only saves enemies. And when we acknowledge that, when we understand that, then why would we fear when truth lands on the heart of an enemy who hates God? And that it would make it as if it would make them hate God more. They already hate God. Evil is already beset in their hearts. And we also don't get to know that. You can't possibly know that if you're not speaking truth. You can't possibly know whether someone is an enemy of God or not until you speak the truth to them. Then that can reveal. And you also don't know at what point God's going to take that truth and make that enemy his brother or sister in Christ. You don't know that. You don't know that. So we speak the truth, and we do it because Christ has compelled us to through his word.
Yep.
Boom. Bodhi was awesome. We got to spend time with him, and it was fantastic and such a gift. And pray for his family. Look for ways, that you can contribute to what their needs are. I know that many people are meeting their needs, which is fantastic. And not the least of which is the church of which he was a part of, and the community that he was building at the university. But just to continue to pray for them, because it's just a lot of kids. It's a lot of kids. It's his wife. It's a big burden. It's a big burden. He was not old. 54, 56. He was not old. He was young. So continue to pray for them, as Christ would minister to them.
Yes.
Shall we try to talk of something else now?
Sure. I think a good segue is, speaking truth into culture, Canon Press apparently. Canon Press, big boys over there trying to get a little bit of the Christianity Today, or all of it.
All right. So when I heard this, my first thought was like, wait a minute, that's a lot. That's a lot to offer there for that, because, and I know like the numbers are, they have like, $9.9 million in reach/assets. But Christianity Today is not funded by subscriptions. Nobody subscribes. They're funded by grants. They're funded by large outsized donors. Like it's not like it's a fully functioning actual nonprofit that actually brings in like real donations from real people. They're just not. Like, they're garbage. No one's going there. No one's going there to read them. I mean, they generate they generate the amount of traffic to their website in a year as Babylon Bee does in a day to their website. Like, they're not. But Christianity Today Ashtray is a great understanding of what they are. And then the second thing I thought was,
Oh my gosh, should we make that?
Christianity Ashtray. Oh, wait, let's do it. The second thing I thought was, wait a second, is Canon Press actually part of Big Eva now? Like, I got really concerned. Like, they're gonna pocket out $10 million for that. I'm like, whoa. And the answer is no. Big Eva is dependent upon what you teach, not the size of your ministry. That's the problem.
Right. But
there are plenty of small churches that are big Eva. So,
yeah. Not ours though. Not ours.
by God's grace.
By God's grace.
By God's grace. So yeah, no, like let's just like if we were to consider that like they buy Christianity Today, and at this point don't in no way rebrand the name, fully keeping Christianity Today as the name, are able to just revitalize that particular publication with truth. I mean, like, wow.
It's potentially generation changing. Like that is a huge game changer to have a publication, another publication in the Christian space that would actually, I don't know, publicize Christianity.
Well, Christianity Today also isn't. It's not inherently like. It's not like table talk, right? It's not like. It's not like the Daily Bread. These aren't like specific devotionals. Like Christianity Today was to bring the biblical values of Christianity into the cultural space. It was always intended to do much more of what like the briefing does, what Albert Mohler's always tried to do with the briefing, to bring the biblical worldview into the current cultural space and what's happening in our culture. So it's a different publication, unlike many publications that have always that we kind of think of when we think of Christian publications, and so it does get right into the modern culture, and speaking into these topics, and it would definitely be like, someone who's like, oh, what do Christians think about blank? They can go to Christianity Today, but they will not find out what Christians think about that topic. But if they go to Christianity Today, Canon owns it, then they will actually be able to go and actually say, oh, that's what the Bible says about that. As opposed to, that's what that progressive person who just, deconstructed their faith thinks about that, which is a difference between what God thinks about it.
Right. Instead of articles about, Taylor Swift and Christianity, which the two do not intersect on any level.
No.
You'll actually maybe hear, some actually biblical takes on cultural topics.
Like what does Bible say about Taylor Swift
and witchcraft?
Lost.
Oh, man.
What also floats in water? What is a witch?
Also floats in water.
Grandma's gravy.
Grandma's gravy.
Small rocks. Churches. All right, enough Monty Python. That would be pretty fire. I mean, that would be a big step and move right there. That's what that would be. That would be like guy walks in, kicks down the door, just starts taking everything. Just does what he wants.
Some people on Twitter. Some people on Twitter were saying that if it actually happens, Doug Wilson should walk in to the headquarters carrying a sink like Elon did when he bought Twitter. I'm like, he should do that. Honestly, it'd probably be, dude. Can you imagine? That would be the best no quarter November deal like ever.
Oh my gosh!
Oh my gosh!
Get your subscription to Christianity Today. Now it's actually Christian.
Oh my gosh. But
let's figure if it went through and they were able to get it done, they could possibly have their first edition by November.
I know, right?
Their first edition could be the inaugural No Quarter November edition of Christianity Today.
Dude.
Anyway, all right. I mean, this is fun. This is a fun topic. But it certainly speaks to what someone that is going to effectively pour themselves out specifically in ministry can do.
Yes.
And that has been the goal of what's happened in Moscow. That has been the goal of Canon Press and Christ Church. And they have not wasted the time. And I think that's probably something you really can point to. If this wasn't just a troll, and whether or not it would actually go through, I mean, you'd think that the people that are in Christianity today would want to get out of that burning ship, but hey, Satan go to Satan.
Satan go to Satan. Never underestimate the stubbornness of the left.
Oh my gosh. But if it is, it does speak to the testament. Like, they haven't wasted time, and look where God has grown what they are doing. Let us, dear Christian, also not waste the time, as we've already spoken about, just with the passing of saints in this recent year, like we have to not waste the time, and we have to get about that ministry, and may we be found faithfully serving God. And also, I'm all about Christianity. Christianity Today's No Quarter November edition.
Oh my gosh, dude! I got to make a graphic about that.
That would be awesome. Half of me has always wanted to be like, dude, why don't we do No Quarter November? And I'm like, well, we're so small, we kind of do that whenever we want, because we always just say what we never try.
We
do not
qualify
try to
barely
soften
anything.
That's true.
Because we're not smart enough to.
Oh, it's true. We just always do No Quarter November. It's easier to not be not overthink it.
Right,
Don't
right,
overthink it. just rail against sin. All right. Anyway.
Find yourself some guys with nothing to lose. Those are the best people to listen to.
Oh my gosh, it is such a fact. Such a fact. Whew. You know what? I just the craziness of all that almost makes me feel like I have a headache. It almost makes me feel like I have a headache. Maybe I should just go ahead and grab some Tylenol.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, how's that segue?
Look at that. Sure, I say go for it as long as you're not pregnant.
Well, thankfully, unlike the left, I know men can't be pregnant.
Unlike Christianity Today.
I don't have a uterus. You idiots.
Oh, my word.
Yes, men can't be pregnant. There's no such thing as a pregnant man, in case anyone was curious.
Right. In case Christianity Today is listening to this podcast.
Yes, but they're not.
They're not. They are not.
They're too busy pandering to left wing groups to get money.
Oh, my word.
Yeah. So first of all, Make America Healthy Again has been rolling, bro. Rolling. It's almost like if you choose a slogan that no one can disagree with, it's going to do well. So most of America wants America to be healthy, and it turns out, we've been using we've not been, let's just say, from farming to pharmaceuticals, we've not really been aiming at health.
Yes.
For a long time. And Robert Kennedy is moving, man. He's doing some stuff. So the recent release that's gotten a lot of fire has been that it turns out Tylenol can potentially cause autism if taken during pregnancy. Now, that general statement, which is pretty much the statement that was released, that pregnant women should avoid taking Tylenol, made it sound like if you took a Tylenol while you were pregnant, your kid was going to be autistic. That wasn't the intention, and that wasn't what the study said inherently.
Right.
Nonetheless, the reality of the statement is still quite true. And it's probably important to note that, because
You know who knows
Tylenol,
that?
Who knows that? Tylenol. You know who noted that? Tylenol back in like 2017 when they posted that this is possible. The reality is, in this whole discussion, and then we'll also jump to vaccines, because he's also reframed how we're looking at vaccines, which is also fantastic.
Well, once the one domino falls, you just got to rip the Band-Aid off.
Right, we're just ripping the Band-Aid off. I mean, mostly what I'm really happy is how they've focused on farming. It's been really great. Not big pharma, but farming, like the actual where you plant things, and planting overcrops and trying to renutrient the soil to bring it back up to where it can be, where we can actually have healthy things coming out of the ground instead of things that we just keep planting over and over and over and over and over and over again. Well, it's not that the things that we plant will kill us. It's the fact that we can't keep planting them in that soil without pumping them full of everything that we need, that the soil would naturally be giving them, but it doesn't exist anymore, and so we have to keep fertilizing them and pesticiding them and spraying them, and so that's the problem.
Right. All
So
of the
it's been
things
really
that they
great.
put on the crops will kill us.
Yes, that's the problem.
All the known carcinogens and all those.
Yeah, well,
things.
it's like, we all like corn to look like the corn that we've come to know and love. That's amazing looking corn. But like at the same time, when you keep planting it over and over and over and over and over and over, you have to actually like make sure the soil has the nutrients to make the corn grow. And if you don't, well, you can just dump a bunch of chemicals on it, and that'll work. So yeah, but with Tylenol, it turns out, depending on the main findings of studies, big, large studies, has been that depending on when you are taking Tylenol, so the closer to the birth is a problem. Like it's been found in cord blood, like Tylenol, it's getting to the baby. And so the closer you get to birth, in the developmental stages, the more harmful it can be. Additionally, we can pop as just an adult man, like with pain. Like I don't think like if I am developing a headache and I'm like, you know what, I just need to drink more water. Simultaneously, I also think Tylenol is nothing. So I'm just going to pop some Tylenol too. We can feel like we can pop Tylenol all the time because Tylenol, at a certain point, you wonder, is it doing anything? I don't even know if it's doing anything, but I can take it because whether it does something or not,
It's not going to hurt me.
It's not going to hurt me. That's what we think. And that's essentially what was happening because not only the closer you get to pregnancy can it become more, the closer you get to birth, the more it can have an impact on the child, but also in quantity. And so as soon as you run a fever as a pregnant woman, you're like, oh, I can take Tylenol because it'll reduce my fever. And then, it turns out that your body's doing a lot of stuff. And so you can actually, feel feverish very often as a pregnant lady.
Yes.
I've interacted with a pregnant lady many times in my own home. And the dramatic feelings that the body goes through are very real. And so you can think, oh, I'm just going to take Tylenol. And I'm just going to, it's been like 10 hours. I can just take Tylenol again. No, you know what? I probably can just take some Tylenol. And then you find yourself taking a lot of Tylenol because Tylenol, again, we're always wondering, like, it can't hurt me, so I might as well just take Tylenol.
Right.
So then in quantity, we have a serious problem.
Well, I mean, not only that, it's like it's the only thing that they tell you to take. Like, you can't take Motrin.
Yeah, you can't take any of the NSAIDs are bad. You definitely can't take those.
So it's like, what are you pounding? You're pounding the Tylenol. That's what your doctor tells you to do.
Yes, but it turns out that we're going to tell basically this whole giant upgrade. Why are people so stupid? Oh, Robert Kennedy said we can't do it. Oh, we can't take Tylenol. I'll show you. Look at me. I'm 8 months pregnant. And I'm going to chug this bottle of Tylenol. Why do we do stupid things? Why do people do stupid things?
Oh my gosh! If only we knew, man. If only we knew.
The stupid videos of people like, I'll show you. I'm going to take Tylenol right now. My baby will be fine. Oh my gosh, liver failure? Really? You idiots? Like,
right. Welcome to the transplant list, and because you're an overdose, you probably won't get one. I mean, I work in the ER. I see people with Tylenol overdoses, and their outcomes are extremely dismal. I'll never forget one night we had I want to say 12 or 13-year-old come in, and she overdosed on Tylenol earlier that afternoon, didn't tell her parents, and then like later that night she comes in, because she started vomiting and all of those things associated with taking too much medication, and we don't know if she's going to be able to survive because your liver literally cannot function. It literally blocks the liver from doing what it does, and your body just fills up with toxins. And at some point, unless you get a new liver, which is extremely hard to come by, you're kind of up a creek, all because you wanted to prove a point or make a stupid decision. Like, Tylenol is not like we take it all the time, and you're right, and we take it all the time, and for lots of reasons that it's supposed to be used for, and this and that and the other thing. But taking too much of it is so bad for you, so bad for a normal person. But like, nobody wants to. There's like such a hesitancy to question the medical community, and it's insane. Like, look, I work in healthcare. It's a scam. Like, healthcare is basically a scam. I completely agree with Robert Kennedy when he says that we don't focus on healthcare, we focus on sick care. That I actually really like that point about the Make America Healthy Again agenda. And, they're like, oh, just because Bobby Kennedy said it, or just because Trump can't say acetaminophen, that means that they're not telling the truth. Well, that's certainly not what that means. That's not how truth works at all, ever. So yeah, and I mean, look at the studies. Actually look at the studies, because people weren't allowed to say what Bobby Kennedy has been saying this whole time, and he's been saying it for years. They didn't. You're right. They didn't say. I'm sorry. I'm kind of going off on a tangent. You're right. They didn't say that Tylenol causes autism. They did not say that. And anyone who tells you that that's what they said is lying to you, because that's it's not what they said. They're looking for correlational links, because no one has ever studied this before, because they're not allowed to. you will lose your job if you study this. There's doctors all over the place that are just losing their jobs because they are questioning the main narratives, and they're doing this. They're attempting to do the studies that no one's ever done to actually determine if something is safe or not. And that should be a rational good for humanity, to actually want to know if these things that we've pushed for so long are helpful. And you will lose your job if you do it. Like, gosh dang, people, dude. Oh man, people are so dumb. It's like not even funny. It really is quite sad, actually.
Yes, and if you're concerned about the vaccines and what's being done with the vaccine panel that identifies whether a vaccine is good or not, just calm down. Just calm down. Most vaccines we take were not put through the most rigorous trials. Just to be clear, most vaccines that we take, which by the way you have no recourse if something goes wrong with that vaccine of actually ever being compensated fairly or rightly because of what that vaccine did to you have no hope because the government has declared it to be so. The trials are not done right. The information is dramatically skewed. We're not talking about double-blind trials in large sample sizes. We're talking about rapidly understood trials with not there's no placebo. We're talking about bad trials and what simply wants to be done. In fact, the process is actually looking to streamline getting vaccine and treatments out for particularly untreated issues. That's their goal in America. Simultaneously, because they're trying to do it more rapidly, they're going to require that the studies actually be good, and so they're going to actually be telling you whether or not a vaccine is not a good vaccine. We're not using this. This is a bad vaccine. This vaccine has too many. The risks outweigh this vaccine had no double-blind trial, and it turns out in like 10% of the people, their livers exploded. Like that, it's going to be good to have people identifying the actual efficacy of whether a vaccine, not just, hey, we did some trials and here they are, and this will generally help. It's going to be generally good. It might be some bad.
Can I get on the vaccine, the childhood schedule now? Like, look, I did a little bit of science. Yeah, it's not great science, but I did a little bit of science stuff. And can I have this now, please? Do you mind?
Also, here's a lot of money. Can we have it now?
Right. It is like classic follow the money stuff on this crap. Do you mind if I real quick
rant about vaccines?
No, I want to give people the information that they need to make the best decisions for their family. And
give that information, Jesse.
I've been reading a ton, and I would just like to share some things. So the studies that you're referring to that show that are the gold standard for showing causation of adverse effects in any medication is called a double-blind placebo trial. So that means you have half of the sample size receiving said drug or vaccine, and you have half the sample size not receiving the vaccine. The researchers don't know who has what. The people don't know who has what. You measure it for a long time, and then you compile the results and the data, and you can kind of, with greater certainty, determine causation. Obviously not 100%, because causation is an incredibly difficult thing to prove, but you have a pretty good idea. That is the scientific gold standard for determining causation of adverse effects. There is only one vaccine on the childhood schedule that has ever had a double-blind placebo trial. Only one. Okay? A lot of these that claim they've had a placebo trial actually use another vaccine that has the placebo. And did
Wait,
that vaccine? Dude, I'm telling you. Yes. In certain vaccines, the placebo is a previous version of the vaccine that they're trying to gain licensure for. It's not actually a true placebo, which means an inert substance that the body will not react to. It is literally another vaccine.
That's dumb.
Dude.
That's real dumb.
Dude, I'm telling you. So basically what you need to do is you need to look up in section 6.1, any vaccine insert, it'll tell you the clinical trial data. They are federally mandated to tell you their clinical data information. And just go see how long the kids were monitored for after the injection. And you just think to yourself, is this enough time? So for instance, the Hep B vaccine, the Recombivac's vaccine that we give for hepatitis B to pretty much every single newborn in America, whether the mom has Hep B or not, we give this Hep B vaccine to. Several of my children have had it. Almost every child in America has gotten this vaccine. Do you know how long they monitored kids for the Hep B vaccine for any adverse reactions?
Probably like at least a year.
You would think at least a year. In fact, for most drugs, the clinical trials last 6 to 7 years. Drugs that actually have, that don't have immunity from lawsuits, they trial for 6 to 7 years because they want to see the immunologic responses. They want to see the neurologic responses. They want to make sure that they're going to have a company after they release this drug because, if it kills a bunch of people and it's not actually safe, then the company ceases to exist. However, the Hep B vaccine, the children were followed for 5 days post-vaccination. 5 days. You know what you don't catch in 5 days? Immunologic issues. You know what else you don't catch in 5 days? Neurologic issues.
So they were looking for just immediate, injection site reactions?
Basically. Basically.
Did the kid get a rash from the needle? Is that what we're talking about right now?
Right, which happens with almost every needle. The majority of reactions are local inflammatory reactions, that you see. And then what do you treat it with? Tylenol. And you know what Tylenol does? Doesn't let your liver function as well as it should to clear out toxins. So you got
another vaccine. Do we treat it with another vaccine?
Sometimes.
So stupid.
So I'm telling you, in section 6.1 of any insert on the FDA's website, you can look up how long they were monitored for, and you can make your own informed decision about, is this enough time? Did they actually catch the things that I would be concerned about as a parent to give my child a vaccine for something that they will never actually catch? Unless they're like an IV drug user or, having sex with an IV drug user. These are the types of questions that we need to ask as parents because these are the things that absolutely no one tells you, but it's right there in the insert. They don't have.
No, I'm not going. I can assure you. My daughter is not going to be an intravenous drug user or a whore. So,
right.
I'm her dad. Here I am. Right. I think Mark Driscoll said something just like that.
Yes. He did. He's just like,
"Hi, I'm her dad. What are you doing? What are you shoving in my child right now? Hang on a second."
Yeah, time out. So, I mean, these are logical questions that you will absolutely be lambasted on the internet for asking. They don't have the studies that prove safety and efficacy like they do for other drugs because they don't have any financial incentive to do these long studies. Because once it's on the schedule, they are immune from litigation. Thanks, Ronald Reagan. That was his fault. So,
yeah,
it wasn't Ronald Reagan's fault, but it happened under his administration that
I can assure you he would regret that. Yes,
I would agree.
Just as he regretted his stance on divorce as the governor of California later in life. I guarantee you he would regret this as well.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I'm not a crazy science person. I do believe in informed consent. I think it's.
I hate crazy science, and that's exactly what this is.
It's certainly the deeper you dive, the more crazy you feel because you're like, there's no way that this is actually true. And then you look at the government's own data and you're like, wow, I shouldn't have trusted the government in this either. Yet another.
I'm from the government and I'm here to vaccinate you.
Right.
Wait, what?
Yet another area I shouldn't have done. We're talking about things like eczema, allergies, asthma, like all of these things. There is just not enough time in these clinical trials for the vaccines because they don't have to do them because they're financially protected. That they don't know if it's safe or not. And anyone that tells you...
When was that a good bargain? At what point was that a good bargain?
Well, the problem is that in the 80s, when the vaccine, schedule started ramping up, people were suing the manufacturers, and the government's like, no, these vaccines are good. We don't want them to. We don't want them to stop making and innovating. So we're just going to protect them.
Well, how about we just fix the litigation process instead of fixing the things that we're shoving in our body? Like why wasn't that a thought? Hey, maybe our culture is too ridiculous about suing. Maybe we need to actually evaluate whether there's good standing, and maybe we need to evaluate what standing actually should mean in this process, so that we can actually have cases that go forward, but not like also allow a company to make something that's going to literally be with us for the rest of our lives without actually knowing with what will happen with that thing for the rest of our lives.
Well, I think the better thing that should have been done was to ask the question of the pharmaceutical companies, is this actually safe? Is this actually causing the problems that these parents are walking away from their doctor's offices with?
Yes,
that would have been
safe.
That would have been the best.
It is totally safe for 5 days.
For 5 days. Right.
You will be fine for the next week. After that, don't know. We'll see. No.
I will say this. After I read the Hep B vaccine insert, I've just been, I work in healthcare. I've just been walking around to all the nurses I know. I'm like, how long do you think this clinical trial went for? Because we went to college, right? Nursing school is fairly rigorous. It's no joke. And, everyone is absolutely shocked. Now, obviously, you don't have to draw a conclusion from that, but it's a concerning piece of information.
Right. And I'm not ignorant. I understand that before they actually went to clinical trial with people, they were injecting mice with large quantities of this stuff to see how they would develop so rapidly, just given the life cycle of a mouse and how their body metabolizes it, what it causes in them. I understood they did that. But look, you giving 100 milligrams of something to a tiny rodent that you're only going to give me 5 milligrams of doesn't actually show me what's going to happen to that 5 milligrams inside of my body for the rest of my life. Yes, you're trying to extrapolate this data, but you didn't actually show it. And so you did all this testing and it said, oh, well, it should be fine long term. Now we just need to worry about what's going to happen short term inside of humans for a week. But that's not how it works, because it turns out I'm just not a mouse. I'm not a mouse. I'm not a rat.
At the end of the day,
I'm not an orangutan.
We're just
I'm a human being.
Right, and we're doing this to children. I feel like that makes it worse. Yeah, you know what I mean? I just feel like that makes it worse.
In a culture that will chop off a child's genitals, I just don't know that is a factor anymore. I just don't know. Yeah. I just don't think it registers with people.
Yeah. And it's like look, the autism community is very upset that, they're demonizing autism. I don't think that's what they're doing. I think that there are many families with life debility, children with autism that literally cannot function well. And I have a child with cerebral palsy. Do I wish that he could walk? Do I wish that I could hear his voice? Do I wish? Of course I do. Do I love him? Oh, absolutely. Just how he is. And I'm thankful for all of the blessings that God has given me through the process. That doesn't mean I don't want him to walk and talk. You know what I mean? It does. So it's oh man. Anyway, that was a fun tangent.
Wow, we kind of maybe we went a little far there.
Yeah, you know what? Thank God for Dropwave, because they're never going to censor us. They're never going to kick us off their platform. Thank God for the people in Moscow that made Dropwave. If you have a podcast, or if you want to start one, unofficial, ad plug here.
Well, we do know the people that we know the people that run Dropwave. Also, get Dropwave. You can say whatever you want, and the people that are actually running Dropwave, don't hate you. So I would say
might also own Christianity Today students.
Maybe affiliated with Christianity. Yeah, Dropwave. Dropwave is a better platform in which you can disperse your podcast or whatever. Your church. Honestly, your church information, your church thing. Get your church podcast thingy on there. Do it. Just do it. Just stop it. Dropwave, free promotion. Do it. Mention Carpe Fide and you'll get no money off, but they will actually be like, oh, cool, nice.
Yeah, that's exactly. You know what? That is exactly the reward for doing that. Oh man.
What else? Oh, can we all agree that the United Nations is ridiculous, and we should kick them out of America and like reclaim that property. I don't even care if you give it back to the Rockefeller family.
Property.
Yeah, no, like I don't care if you give it back to the Rockefeller family and say, "Hi, we know you donated this. We've decided to remove the UN, so you can do whatever you want with this property now."
We don't want it anymore.
We don't. The United Nations has been dissolved in America. We're not a part of it, and so we're not going to allow terrorists to come into our country. It's not going to have to go somewhere else. So you can have the property back. Do whatever you want with it. That's fine. No big deal. And we know it was a big tax write-off. We're not even looking for that money back. It is now just yours. So the UN is gone. It is a disgusting, gross, foolish. Look, I get it. Look, we try experiments. We try experiments at times to see if things can work. It's failed. It's done, and there's no purpose for the United Nations. It is literally. It is the Camelot from Monty Python. On second thought, let us not go to Camelot. Tis a silly place. It's ridiculous.
It is the most Isley of politics.
Yes, that is what Ben Shapiro calls it. It is the most Isley of politics. And let's be honest, of course it is. Anytime you have nation states that are obviously Islamic terrorist groups getting the same vote as the United States on something, that's retarded.
On the Security Council?
Yeah, like anytime like what we say about what happens in the world as the United States and what our interests are can be outweighed by like a country like China is stupid. We're not the same. We're not the same. We don't have the same interests. We shouldn't be on the same panel because we are not the same. They can go ahead and play ball with their own things. And I know what everybody's like, well, we can't isolate. We need all of these countries to look. Here's the deal. If China wants to sell us something, they'll figure out how to get it done. We don't have to worry about their interests. Okay?
They can make a phone
because
call.
It turns out we still have the money. Okay, we have the money that they want. And you know what? As few children as we still have more children than them. We're still not dying as fast as they are. Okay, that's how I feel about China. I'm sorry.
Man. China.
They buried generations in their soil and didn't want to have kids because they were stupid. And now they can't get people to have kids, and now they don't have enough kids, and now they're aging out. Sorry, not sorry. All right. Russia wants to send all of its young men to the meat grinder fighting a war in Ukraine that is literally fruitless and doesn't matter at this point. Like, go for it. Knock yourselves out. We are not the problem that I have, and this is really truly the problem that I have, and this might sound harsh to some people. The problem that I have is not with these countries, because it turns out, honestly, I'm not super afraid of Russia. You're like, what about nuclear? I'm not super afraid of Russia. I'm not super afraid of China. What I have tremendous fear about is the nations that are reproducing that actually hold Islam and Sharia. That's what I'm concerned, because they're actually having children. They actually have a long-term plan. Their goal is to conquer everything long-term by having kids and raising them in exactly what they believe. The fact that there are spots in the United States that are actually processing Sharia law, that the United Kingdom has whole counties that are actually adopting Sharia law, that is asinine, ridiculous, evil, and disgusting and gross. And in the United Nations, those people have some of the same voice on topics as we do in the United Nations, and that's stupid, because you know what? They're not worth that. They're not worth that voice. And if you don't like that, I said that, I don't care. They're not. That's evil. I'm sorry. I have what covenant can light up with dark? I have no covenant with that. I'm out. Burn it. Burn it down.
Yep. Yeah, it's it is Islamic countries are way more effective at taking over countries than Russia certainly is.
Clearly. Clearly.
Like seriously, like you know what I mean? Like they have taken the Shema and they have completely bastardized it, and they are carrying it out better than Christians are. And that is wildly problematic, extremely dangerous, and I agree. There is no fellowship with that. Like, it's just so disappointing, embarrassing that Muslims are doing what Christians should be doing way faster and way better than Christians are. And yet we're still talking about like being salt and light in the public schools. And it's like, no. Like that's not the winning strategy. We've tried that for a long time and it's not working. It's getting worse. Like, and we still hold on to these like stupid tropes and things that will make us like feel better because we're choosing the easy thing and not the hard thing. And we are going to look exactly like Europe, and Europe is not looking very good.
London, Brussels, Paris. We're talking about whole European cities that that are becoming majority immigrant. Majority immigrant. That's an insanity. That is an insanity. They are losing their whole country and cultural identity because of their adherence to this idea of man's kindness without truth. And it is a disgusting sin is a cancer. Sin is a cancer. It's an infectious disease that spreads and it kills you. It kills you. That's what sin does. And so to allow it to spread is absolutely insane.
Right.
Let me help you understand, Christian. If you really want to get to this, what do you think the public school system will look like under Sharia? What do you think they'll teach? Do you think they'll teach a lot of, openness to ideas and cultures and different view sets? No, they'll teach Sharia. Why is it we live in a nation that is Christian and don't expect our public school systems to actually teach Christianity? That's insane. That's a level insane. And so if your public school system is not teaching Christianity, which I can assure you it's not, then don't be a part of it. There you go. End of story.
Don't covenant with it. Don't covenant with it. Like, God didn't set nations up to work that way. God didn't set nations up, even secular nations, to be invaded by other forces just completely freaking willingly. In the name of what? Social justice? Like, what are we doing, dude? What are we doing? It's not racist to think that, your country actually should maybe have borders. Like, it's not racist. That's how God set up nations to work. Not just Christian nations, every nation. And we are so just ass backwards that we think that it's some type of moral good in this country. Like, Europe is paying the price, man. They are being ravaged. Ask anybody. Ask anybody who's there. The people are rising up in the streets. People are counter-protesting, Muslim marches in the streets. Like, I sent you that video. I don't know if you got to watch it yet, but I sent you that video in, Ireland. Like,
yeah, where the football. Yeah, people were there to watch a football game, and they just started chanting down. They went outside and started chanting down the I don't know what you call them, radicals. Like, I just hate this idea. Wow, you're a radical Christian. Like, yes, I am a radical Christian because I believe in Christianity. That's what makes me a radical Christian. It means I don't want to chop off my children's genitals and tell them that they're a different gender. It means I want to value life from conception to the grave. It means I actually uphold moral truth that is objective and outside of myself. Yeah, call me a radical. Let me help you understand. The other radicals that are coming, you think you don't like me being a radical Christian? Let me help you understand what a Sharia radical looks like. Okay? And a Sharia radical is just a person who believes in Islam, just reads the book and actually believes what it says. Doesn't try to reinterpret it, actually believes that the garbage that Allah pumped into a culture is okay. That means there's going to be children weddings. That means that if there's a woman that do not convert, they will be put into cages and burned alive. Let me help you understand what this looks like. It looks like rape culture, not where we call it rape, but where we just call it culture. That's what it looks like. You want to talk about radical? You get out of here with that nonsense. You just get out of here with that nonsense.
Right. And Christianity is the only force that can drive back this darkness, and we just seed the ground. We just seed the ground, like lose the ground, give it over. Not like actual good seeding the ground, but like we just let people walk all over. Like, the best thing we can do to love our neighbors is to show them God's law and to live by that, because God's law is the best law. And it's not just the best law if you truly believe it. It's the best practical law. Like, we have to believe that, or else God gave people stupid laws. And I don't believe that God would do that. I don't think that jives with his nature. Like, God taught us how to live. He showed us what a society that is just and equitable and merciful looks like. And we should do that instead of creating our own man's warped gunk stuff that we're dealing with now. Oh man,
all the language we're trying to avoid using because
there's so many words I can't say.
We really feel about it. We feel so strongly about it.
And it's not because I hate Muslim people. I hate their demon god. I want the Muslim people to know my God. Yes, I would much prefer that. And God's like, my people won't even evangelize them. I have to give them dreams and show them who I am, because our people aren't even freaking talking about God to the Muslims for fear of, whatever, social ostracization. Sorry, I'm done. You can talk now.
You know what? I know what I genuinely believe a lot of Christians don't do that because they fear that they're going to make the Muslim angry, and they know what happens when they make the Muslim angry. And let me tell you something. What should actually happen is the Muslim should fear what happens when a righteous man gets angry. That's what should be present. That's what should be present. And we have lost it. We are kittens, not lions. What has happened? What has happened? Oh my goodness.
I'll tell you what, Justin. I had no idea how this episode was going to turn out, but I'm feeling pretty good about it already. We're not even done. We're not even done, and I'm surprised at us.
I am glad that you feel good about. Well, I mean, it has been an hour. We should go, well, not quite an hour, but almost an hour. We should definitely.
Oh, jeez.
Move. Yeah, I know. You're like. We didn't even talk about the
my god,
superintendent in Des Moines public school system. This guy, are you kidding me?
We didn't even talk about that.
Me?
I didn't even know we were going to talk about that.
No, but like, there's so many stories we didn't cover. Oh my gosh,
what a joke!
Oh my, I can't even. Like, what is wrong with us? Where have we completely lost the thread? If you don't know, it's just an illegal immigrant, with different charges, was supposed to be expelled from the country. He's just been running a public school district for like 15 years, has like 5 kids from 4 different moms, just no big deal. Like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? That's what happens.
Dude,
that's what happens when
ridiculous.
You worship it is. But when you worship the God of progressivism, this is where it takes you. This is where it takes you. You have no morality. You have no standard. You must accept it all. How stupid is that? How stupid is that? I mean, it's so
but he can rock a bow tie. He's not a threat. He can rock a bow tie. Oh my gosh, these people.
It's really bad. What was the other thing we want to talk about? I can't even remember
that poor father that was doing the.
Oh my gosh,
oh, dude.
Dude, I don't know how deep do you want to go down in that darkness?
Well, fortunately, we've already addressed the majority of the issues with it, but the fact that it exists is infuriating enough. Irina was murdered in North Carolina, and recently a South Carolina father was testifying because his daughter was executed, really, on her knees at gunpoint by a man that had something close to 40 arrests and 25 felony charges. He is, man. I'll have to put the link. People should watch. People should watch what I made you watch.
It's a lot for right this second. But you need to feel the man's energy and emotion and anger, because we should all be that angry that our justice system does not know what justice is. And this is one of the things, like, honestly, in having conversations with other Christians, that they are so confused. I mean, literally the question, well, what is justice? Like, that is not a question a Christian should have to ask. It's just not. Justice is the cross. Justice is that. It is someone taking the wrath of God into themselves for the sin that they have committed. That's what justice is. Justice is violence against unrighteousness. That's what justice is. It is the righteous standard of God held and applied. That is what justice is. And we all know it. That's why God gave governments the sword. That's what they're supposed to uphold. The problem is our justice system has no idea what justice is. And unfortunately, many Christians also do not know what justice is. How could our justice system possibly know? It is a real problem that this man and the man in, well, where was that? South Carolina?
Mm-hmm.
That
Arena was North Carolina, I believe.
North Carolina.
This man was in South Carolina.
That man was also arrested 14 times and let out because we have to factor in just the hardship that our culture has placed upon them previously, and that's why they do these things. And so it makes it different when they do something evil and wrong. No, it doesn't. That's not what justice says. That's not how justice works. Oh my gosh.
Like if I can confidently say regarding the American slave trade that God's just standard should be applied to the man stealer, why can we not also say that God's justice should apply to the person that has no literal physical ties to the antebellum South or to the slave trade whatsoever. Why if I can say that, why can't you say the other thing? Like that's we have to apply the standard justly and evenly. There is no special privilege. Like, what are we doing? That's literally like the most repeated thing about God's justice is it does not, it cannot be, you don't factor in the status of the rich man or the poor man when you deal out justice. Like, that's the one thing we're not supposed to do. And yet here we are doing that exact thing. And people, are dying.
Like people get upset. Like, I think people that rape should be executed. Well, you know who also thinks that? God also thinks that. When you raped a woman in a field, you know what happened to you? You were stoned to death. That's what God thinks. Like, that's how it works. How we have lost this thread. It's just so clear and obvious. And I mean, we did a whole episode on this. Like, I'm not going to get into it, but if you didn't listen to it, it's two episodes ago. We talked about God's justice and what his righteous standard is. There is a brokenness that we don't have. We have forgotten what it is to hate evil and to be joined to what is good. We don't hate evil, and we are supposed to hate evil. If we're going to love, we must hate evil. If we're going to love, we must be joined to what is good. And that we have to have this conversation about whether or not God's law is good. What kind of stupid conversation is that? What kind of stupid conversation is that? Jesus didn't come to get rid of the law because it was evil. Jesus came to fulfill the law because the law showed you where sin was.
And by fulfilling because we cannot.
Exactly.
That's not where our salvation can lie.
He didn't come because the law was bad, and Paul makes this argument so clear. The law showed us what sin was. It was a tutor to lead us to the grace we needed in Christ because we had no hope of not being sinful. It didn't make the law any less moral. It didn't change that murder was evil, that covetousness was evil, that there is a righteous standard of what you are to do with people that do these things. That was not the part that Jesus came to change. What he came to change was the fact that since you can't do it and you have no hope, he changed the hope structure. That's what he did. Oh my goodness. It's like I need to take a deep breath. I feel like there's like always a context. Like, I'm literally having conversations with Christians that do not want, they want to create these permission structures for our culture's horrible application of justice to be okay, because justice is cultural. Justice is not cultural. Righteousness is not cultural. It is biblical. That is what it is. Biblical. And to have these conversations with Christians, I feel like I get it. I get that, like, some person I talk to that doesn't know Christ wouldn't have a standard and wouldn't have an understanding and they wouldn't get it. I'm talking about Christians. I'm talking to Christians. Christians who say, well, we don't live in that culture. We're not Israel. That was when God was establishing a country. That's why he gave them those laws. I'm so sorry. Do you not understand what you just said? These are the laws that God gave for his country to be run. And they would say, well, we're not his country. I say, what country are we then? Whose country are we? Which country do you want? Because only one thing exalts a nation, and that is Christ's righteousness. That is God's righteousness. Nothing else exalts a nation. So you tell me. You tell me. Tell me, dear Christian, where is the standard to be found? Ridiculous. Sorry, that was a rant. I apologize for ranting.
It's all good, man. That's what this episode was about. I guess. Because that's what this episode is. I hope it was about that.
Shotgun ranting. Carpe Fide. Come to Carpe Fide for shotgun ranting.
Episode 203.
It's always no quarter November at the Carpe Fide podcast. It's always November here.
Oh, man.
Oh. Never winter, never spring, only November.
Only November.
Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to mention, Jesse?
No, dear God, please no.
Still some awesome merchandise that you can go to the shop and check out. I do want to point that out. Please, we would encourage you. Go ahead and do that. You're like, hey, where's your Patreon? Hey, we don't have one. We would rather you have a T-shirt and make for an awkward conversation where you can speak the truth everywhere you go. And believe me, you can wear them to the gym. And you're like, oh, no, most of the gym people are based. Yes, they are. They will still look at you funny. You can say, hey, what's up? Is anything wrong? Just telling you, it happens at the gym. Oh, man, I've been wearing my Smash Idol shirt to the gym a lot. A lot.
Nice.
That shirt is fire. Anyway.
Yeah. And thanks to everybody who bought a shirt to help support the Kirk family. I have to run the financials and get that donation out to them. But I want to say it's probably around $1,000 we're able to give off of our shirt donations. Those shirts are still up. We're going to be running 20%. Continues to go to them until we stop offering the shirt. But for now, feel free to get one. If one of the big questions is, man, like, am I going to get scammed? Like, there's the people scam so much especially with merchandise. They say one thing and they do another, or they say that, hey, we're based in Georgia and really, the shirt's coming from like Saudi Arabia. Like there's those people out there. Just know we're not those people. And actually we've moved in this recent store relaunch to involve more Christians in our shirt process than ever before. So, I mean, yeah, just trust that we are absolutely going to be donating that money. I will make a post about it as soon as we get those numbers tallied, and anything that you do that supports us supports other people, because we obviously don't do this for any money. So
Facts. Which is why you're not inundated with ads.
There are no.
And if we did do an ad, it'd be good because we've done them before and we read them and we're fun.
It would be good.
Yeah.
Dude, you know who did a fantastic ad read?
Who?
Russell Brand. I was listening to a podcast on vaccines with Russell Brand. His ad reads are hilarious. I'm like, and that's what we would be like if we did ad reads.
You know who does really good ad reads? I listen to a lot of D&D live play podcasts. When the whole team that's of people that are acting as in a D&D campaign get together to do an ad read and make up a bunch of stuff, it's actually really entertaining.
I believe that would
very
be
entertaining. Also, just like as far as ad reads go, I was listening to a Daily Wire podcast the other day on Pocket Casts, and I heard Ben Shapiro read an ad for Paramount Plus. And I thought, oh, man, how awful because to get the actual host to read the ad, you actually have to pay extra. You pay extra.
A lot of money.
Paramount Plus paid for Ben Shapiro to read an ad. If that doesn't tell you that there's some opportunities for a turning point in our culture right now, I don't know what does.
Desperation.
That was a crazy. I don't even remember what he was talking about that day. I just heard that and I'm like, oh my gosh, wait, what?
Oh man.
Now we talked about ad reads. All right. What is wrong with
Off-Grid Warehouse, everybody? Off-Grid Warehouse.
Off-Grid Warehouse. If you,
.com.
which you hey, if you're looking around, you probably really do need to go to Off-Grid Warehouse and get yourself stocked up. Plate carriers, PPE, quick release, quick attach. You need all this stuff. Everything for mollies that you need. Molly strap, baby.
If you don't have a go bag to prepare for the apocalypse, like, what are you even doing?
Yes. And you know what? Honestly, I encourage families, if you got a family with a big basement, you want to get some of that food down there. You want to get all that stuff stocked up. And have a strategy to get there, and then you're all together. You're all together. You know why? Because we were made for community, baby.
Yeah.
Made for community.
Yeah, that's code CF10. We should probably, that's code CF10. You'll get 10% off at offgridwarehouse.com.
Oh, yeah.
It is in the podcast description every episode, but maybe we should change that to like Dispy. Or like pre-trib.
You're looking for a prepper Christian tag for that? Is that what you're looking for? Like that's crazy. That's crazy good.
Will you be left behind? Go to offgridwarehouse.com.
Left behind, Ted. I do want to say, if you pay attention to our posts here and there on Instagram, Off-Grid Warehouse will actually like some of this stuff. So if you haven't found them on Instagrams, like if you want to know how to put a tourniquet on, they do like videos on how to put a tourniquet on and stuff. So like actual prepper stuff, how to treat gunshot wounds, so I'll just put that out there too. Anyway, dear Christian, we hope this has been an encouragement to you and that we just thank you for listening, because I don't know why you do, and I hope it's encouraging to motivate you to get out there and speak the truth. But we hope that this day you would indeed seize the faith.